Welcome to this week's edition of World Crisis Radio. This is Webster Tarpley reporting from Washington, D.C. You were warned. My book, Obama, the Postmodern Coup, which was published 3 years ago next month. If you're listening to this in April, which I think we may be, it will be 3 years ago, April, in which I warned that Obama would, to the extent he could, emphasize the policies of subversion, soft power, people power coups, attempting to destroy nation states, attempting to turn certain governments into kamikaze puppets one against the other, to take countries like Iran and play them against Russia, to try to split Russia and China, to do the imperialist buck-passing routine in order to conserve U.S. military force. In this case, we've seen it, Tunisia overthrown for free, Egypt overthrown for almost no money, Yemen in chaos, about to split into two parts, Bahrain, a revolt against the local royals who had attempted to get themselves out of the planned U.S. war against Iran, and now Libya, where the policy has gone wrong. But you can see the goal of the Obama administration, with its spiritus rector Zbigniew Brzezinski, had been the creation of a color revolution in Belarus, a color revolution in Iran in June of 2009, the attempted starting of some kind of color revolution ferment in China about a year ago when Google attacked China with high-profile Internet attacks. And now we have this ultimate act of imperialist desperation, the so-called Arab Spring. And we have pointed out, you can find all of this at tarpley.net, and you can find it in my Twitter feed at Webster G. Tarpley. This is a desperation policy of a dying empire. It is an empire which is lashing out. It is in the final throes from most measures. But the idea now is, in order to prevent various countries from asserting their relative independence through cooperation with rogue states, enemy states, the goal now is the destruction of the nation state itself, the destruction of all nation states on the planet, their balkanization, partition, or their destruction by fomenting wars of these countries one against the other. It is the escape from empire, the jailbreak of the satraps, the jailbreak of the viceroys, also a jailbreak against the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the Washington Consensus, free market, free trade, deregulation, privatization, union busting, the destruction of the state sector, the usual Austrian school, Milton Friedman garbage, which has destroyed countries, and now it's bringing its destruction to fruition. In many ways, the revolt against globalization. And in the course of that revolt, what do we have? Who is playing the Russian card? The details you find online in my essay. The Russian card being played by the Prince Bandar faction of Saudi Arabia, by Syria, which of course has a Russian naval base at Tartus, by President Karzai of Afghanistan, by Gaddafi. We're told that there are about $4 billion of Russian development projects in Libya, including the Russian state railways building a $3 billion coastal railway. Saudi, Syria, Karzai, Gaddafi playing the Russian card. Italy, Germany, Turkey. Italy, Germany, Turkey. That's about the majority of NATO. The key parts, especially in the current phase, they're all playing the Russian card by participating either in the Nord Stream pipeline down the Baltic or the South Stream, which cuts out the NATO provocateur states, the virulently anti-Russian, unstable countries, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, and the rest of these. They can no longer turn off the gas for Western Europe. Who's playing the China card? Well, basically everybody in Africa who wants development is playing the China card. Pakistan, Algeria, Libya, Karzai, Sudan, Mugabe in Zimbabwe. And then there's the Iran card. Who is playing the Iran card? Good relations with Iran. Well, first of all, Syria, a close ally of Iran. Egypt, Mubarak had been attempting to have a rapprochement with Iran. He had rejected the U.S. Sunni Arab-Israel alliance under a U.S. nuclear umbrella directed against Iran. Lebanon playing the Iran card, government dominated by Hezbollah. And, ironically enough, even the countries militarily occupied by the United States, like Iraq, Maliki, of course, pro-Iranian, and the impotence of the U.S. to install their puppet, Alawi. Bahrain playing the Iran card, saying to the U.S., don't you use your Fifth Fleet base here in Bahrain to attack Iran. And Turkey attempting to mediate the Iranian nuclear issue. So Turkey also playing the Turkey card. Remember also Gaddafi playing all the cards, right? Gaddafi playing the Russian card, playing the China card, the Russian card with the railway, the China card with the 40,000 Chinese workers and Chinese oil interests, and then saying that Brazil and India will be next for him. So that's what they're responding to, and that's why we now have this war. Whatever else Gaddafi has done, his resistance, his refusal to capitulate in the way that Ben Ali had and Mubarak had, Gaddafi's resistance has forced the imperialist policy out in the open. All the singing tomorrows and the golden youth and the pleasant slogans about constitutions and the rule of law and civil rights and humanitarian values, they're all out the window. This is the brutal fist of imperialism. This is bombing, strafing, the massacre of civilians, predator drones over your country, killing women and children, the corpses piling up in the name of the Arab Spring, of democracy and good feelings and all these wonderful things, with Ghonim of Google coming on the scene as a revolutionary leader in Egypt. And, of course, the mask of Obama, Obama's pleasant mask of Nobel Peace Prize winner and peace angel and thinking man's president. Now, mask has been dropped. We see the hideous visage of imperialist aggression once again, and some left liberals will never awake, but some actually may, now that they see that their darling Obama of 3 years ago, their peace angel, what they thought was the alternative to Bush-Cheney, turns out to be the continuation of Bush-Cheney, simply with other means, with a slightly more clever and more deceptive, above all, package. You can pay tribute to Bush and Cheney. They were reactionary, imperialist aggressors, and they made no bones about it. Dead or alive, bring it on. There was a kind of gruff honesty. As Bush said, you may hate me, but you know what I'm for. Yeah, we do. In Obama's case, the snake, the deceiver, the cultivator of strategic deception, fraud, treachery, hypocrisy, double standards. These are the coin of the realm for Obama. So now we have the fourth United States war. We've got the Iraq war, which is going on and may boil over again. We've got Afghanistan, which is going very, very badly. We've got a war with Pakistan, which would already be a shooting war, except that the Pakistanis were smart enough to keep their nuclear forces. This is maybe the fatal flaw for Gaddafi, is that he said he was willing to give up his nuclear program if he ever had one. If Gaddafi had nuclear weapons at this point, needless to say, there would be no invasion. That seems to be the lesson. We'll get back to that in a minute. The war, therefore, has come. Obama is out in the open as an aggressor and a warmonger, and all of the nonsense of the Arab Spring has now been refuted. This is an exercise in imperialism, colonialism, and world domination. And we'll be back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.